going on, Vikings fans? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to have some hard conversations around two players on the Minnesota Vikings. And first, we'll dive into T.J. Hockenson. Now, obviously, Hawk has not played good football to start the season. He looks slow. He has had some difficulties, just separating, and he just doesn't look like who he was when the Vikings traded for him a couple of years ago. So we'll start off with Hawk, and then on the second half of today's show, Ivan Pace Jr. has just been flat out terrible for this defense, and it's incredibly disappointing. He was one of the coolest stories in the NFL. UDFA, really came onto the league strong in his rookie year, but even just last year, he hasn't really looked his best. So we'll talk about TJ Hockenson. We'll talk about Ivan Pace, but before we do so, if you guys could hit that subscribe button today, we are closing in here on 60,500 subscribers. Just need 72 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button today. So if you guys are new here to the channel and have not subscribed just yet, hit that subscribe button and help us reach 60,500 subs. All right, so let's talk about TJ Hockenson. Now, after watching the last 2 weeks of Hawk and really diving into the film and specifically just having an eye on him when I'm watching a lot of these plays, he looks old and he looks cooked. And, we thought TJ Hockenson was going to have a kind of a resurgence this year because last year he didn't play good football. Now, a lot of us chalk that up to him coming off that torn knee. He spent the whole offseason rehabbing. He joined the team midway through the year. So we thought with a full offseason working on his body, still only 28 years old, we would get more production than what we've had from him so far this season. But the production has been awful. I mean, the first 2 weeks, he's been a no-show. Week 1 against the Bears, 3 receptions, 15 yards, couldn't find the end zone. Week 2 against the Falcons, 1 reception, 12 yards, couldn't find the end zone either. And TJ Hockenson, since last year, he's only had 1 touchdown, and that coming in the playoff game against the Rams when the Vikings were already down by 2 scores, so it was kind of a garbage time touchdown. But you would expect 6'5" tight end, big body, he would be a threat in the red zone, and especially just when the Vikings are on goal-to-go situations, but that just hasn't been the case for Hawk so far. And this is a pretty easy take for me to say. Josh Oliver is just a better tight end at this point. I actually thought Oliver, when he was filling in for Hawk in the 2024 season, I thought he did a pretty solid job, especially in the receiving game, because obviously Oliver, one of the best run-blocking tight ends in the NFL. We thought, or at least I thought he wasn't, as good as of a receiving threat as he showed last year, but he was unbelievable. And I could see the Vikings trying to get him more involved compared to TJ Hockenson. Now, the Vikings target leaders this year, obviously Justin Jefferson coming in at number 1, but still only 13 targets for number 18. That's not good enough. Then Jalen Naylor's number 2 with 8 targets. I actually will say there's a great stat around Naylor. He has created the second most amount of separation out of all receivers this season. So shout out to Speedy. If you would have told me that before the year, I would have called you crazy just considering how he looked during the preseason and during training camp. But TJ Hockenson's at number 3, and then you got Thielen and Aaron Jones tied at 4 and 5 with only 4 targets. But as you guys see here, not a lot of targets as a whole. And the Vikings actually this year have ran the least amount of plays in the NFL this season. They have ran less than 100 offensively. That's not good enough. You can't sustain drives, too many 3-and-outs. And also the Vikings on 3rd and 2 or less situations, they have had 10 so far this season. They have only converted 4 of those. The league average in 2024 was 72%. So the Vikings, you can't sustain drives. You're bad at 3rd and short situations. And you're just not running a lot of plays. So there's not a lot of opportunities to get these weapons involved. But back to Hawk. His contract, it looks terrible. Like this deal now with how he's looked this season, this might be one of the worst contracts in the National Football League. He's on the books for $16.6 million this current season. Next year in 2026, $21.3 million, and then 2027, he's on the books for $23.5 million. And it gets me to this: I can't see T.J. Hockenson playing out his contract with the way he's playing right now. I think it is more likely than not that the Vikings either try to trade him or just flat out cut him if he continues the performance he has had over the first 2 weeks. He looks slow. He doesn't look like the same guy. He doesn't look comfortable out there. And if he continues to play like he has, I can't see the Vikings riding out the next 2 seasons of this contract. I could see them maybe trying to trade him. But then again, who's going to trade for a guy with the tape he has put out so far this season? So I think cutting T.J. Hockenson is fully on the table after this year unless he turns it around. Now, I will say, I have full faith in Hawk to turn it around somewhat. But this is a very concerning start. Now, I don't know if you can chalk it up to one, the Vikings not running a lot of plays. It's tough to just kind of get in a rhythm offensively, but also the eye test with TJ Hockenson is not good. So you combine the eye test not looking good, the production's not there. It's just overall hasn't been good enough. And, Hawk, he's done a decent job in terms of the blocking department this season, but still, like, he's not like a great blocker by any means. He's just been solid this year. And if he can't separate, if he can't get open, I just think his best days are behind him. So I'll ask you guys this. No holding back on this one. Is TJ Hockenson washed up? You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm going to probably say yes, which is incredibly disappointing. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Now, coming up next, I do want to discuss Ivan Pace Jr. as he has had a terrible start to the season as well. So we'll discuss that here in a second. But before we do so, today's episode of Vikings Now is brought to you by Prize Picks. And you and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. And if you guys download the app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And Prize Picks, super simple to play. All you got to do is pick more or less on 2 or 6 player stat projections. And if you guys get your picks right, you could cash in. It's also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40-plus states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Prize Picks also puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Now, for Thursday night, here's an example of a lineup I'm rolling with. I'm going to take Devon Achane. The more on his receiving yards, and same with Jalen Waddle, set at 52.5. And they also got the max discount play for Sunday night. Chiefs taking on the Giants, where one Patrick Mahomes passing yard will get you one win on Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, what the hell is going on with Ivan Pace? We got to talk about it because this guy, he was phenomenal during his rookie year. I thought the Vikings found a hidden gem with the UDFA out of Cincinnati, but he has been flat out horrible this season. Number one, the eye test has not been good for Pace, missing a lot of tackles, overshooting his gap, but also the PFF grades speak to that. He is one of the worst linebackers in the league. His PFF grade so far through 2 games is 31.8. That's horrible. Now, normally we know with Pace, he struggles in coverage, which he has yet again this season, 29.5 overall coverage grade. But he's also bad in the run defense, 52.6, which is not good enough. And what's concerning about Pace is this is starting to be a trend. Like, you look at how good he was back in 2023, where his overall PFF grade was 77.1. This past season, not terrible, 64.6. You would take that production out of UDFA linebacker. But so far this season, 31.8, that's just not good enough. And I understand, he's a great story. UDFA worked his tail off, doubted, undersized linebacker. He's just that one-trick pony where he is just a, heat-seeking missile going to the football. But if he's overshooting his gaps, he's missing tackles, you can really see his play fall off a cliff. Then, he has been missing tackles this year. Like, look at the drop-off. He has missed 31.6% of tackles. That's one of the worst in the league. But that's so much worse than what he was the 2 previous seasons. In his rookie year, 9.4%. That's fantastic. Even last year, you'll take that production, 13.9%. So clearly going in the wrong direction. And the thing is with Pace, if Ivan Pace isn't dominant in the run game, where like he was back in 2023 and for most parts of 2024, if he is not that dominant force, he is almost unplayable. Because he struggles in coverage. He couldn't guard a high school tight end, let alone NFL tight ends. So if he is struggling there, stopping the run, and he is as bad as he is in coverage, how can you look at the rest of his team and being like, yeah, he deserves to play? You go toss on this tape. He has been terrible, overshooting gaps, missing tackles, just has not been good in the run game. Plus, with how much he struggles in coverage, I think Ivan Pace might get benched over the next couple of weeks, which could leave the door open for this guy, Kobe King. Vikings took him in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL draft, and clearly they took him for a reason. Because it's not like heading into the draft, linebacker was this, necessarily big need for the Vikings. They could have got another corner, tried to get some depth at another position, but clearly they liked what Kobe King was bringing to the table. So I think he could eventually, overtake Ivan Pace Jr. in this depth chart. But I could also see a situation where Ivan Pace is the fourth linebacker once Blake Cashman returns. And I think when Cashman does return, it should be Eric Wilson and Blake Cashman. Both those guys are pretty damn good against the run. Cashman, obviously elite in coverage, and Eric Wilson actually showed me more than he did in the past in coverage against the Atlanta Falcons. Had that awesome Peanut Tillman punch against Drake London. But overall, sucks to say, like Ivan Pace, TJ Hockenson, two of my favorite players on the Vikings, but they just have not been playing good. And I would really be shocked if both those guys, the way it's trending right now, are on the team next season because the Vikes aren't going to pay Pace if he continues this play. And I can see the Vikings moving off Hockenson if, again, he continues to play the way he's been playing. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, we appreciate all of you guys for watching. Just hit me with a skull down below in the comment section. And we'll see you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes.